Do you ever make a decision and then spend hours or days asking yourself, did I do the right thing? Is this decision going to help me move 2 steps forward, or is it going to take me 2 steps backward? What if there was a way for you to know if a decision you are making is going to help you move 2 steps forward or 2 steps backward? Well, stick around until the end and I'll show you exactly how to get this thing, whatever you want to call it, for helping you make decisions that are going to help you move 2 steps forward rather than 2 steps backward. Hello everybody, I am Vaishali Nikhade. I am an engineer turned psychic with over 9,000 readings, and I show everyone how you can leverage the power of the spirit and the power of the stars in order to make decisions that you don't regret, that you're not second guessing about, and that don't let you sleep at night because you don't always keep wondering, what if I had done that? What if I had done that? What if I had done that, kind of a thing. In this video, you're going to learn why you second guess and why it is secretly draining your energy and what the solution to second guessing is. You'll also get access to a free workshop which shows you how you can leverage the power of the stars in order to be able to make better decisions. So think of stars as the navigator, or essentially showing you the navigation, and they're always pointing you in the right direction. And in this free workshop, you can get to see how you can leverage the power of these stars. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. Failure is a data point. Failure gives you valuable data. Course correcting for failure. Studies show that an average person makes around 35,000 decisions every day, and when you are stuck second guessing, it creates mental fatigue and it leads to stress as well as burnout. So it is not the decisions themselves that is making you exhausted, but it is the doubt loop that they cause. Like, should I have done this versus should I have done that? Should I have said yes? Should I have said no? That kind of a thing. So let's get started. The first part is failure is a data point. So at a very high level, when you look at the outcome of something, it is either success or failure. But life is not, well, life is seldom binary like that. You don't have success or failure. You have all kinds of shades in between of success and failure. Now, if you just look at the extreme point, which is failure, then failure can come from making the wrong decision, because all it takes is one wrong decision to be able to kind of see what failure is. This could be taking up, for instance, a wrong job offer. Like you take up a job offer and because on the surface it looks nice, but you make a bad decision and you take up this offer, and then you realize that, oh shoot, this wasn't really the right decision. So you may be stuck in that job for a little bit because you're not getting anything else, or you may just decide to leave, and either way you're going to call that decision a failure. One thing about failure is that it gives you important data about what you should be doing versus what you should not be doing. It also shows you what worked versus what didn't work, as well as what needs to change. And the data from failure is really important in order for us to be able to create a shift. And I'm going to give an example of a recent client. Her name is Anna. And essentially, she was stuck on taking up a certain kind of a job with a certain kind of a company doing, let's say, some specific work. And she got that job and she took up that job. And when she went in, within 2 weeks or maybe less than 2 weeks, she realized that that really wasn't the job for her. So would you say that her decision to take up that job was a failure, or was it a success? The thing is, you can look at it both ways. It's almost like having the glass half full versus half empty. So in a way, it was a failure because she should have known ahead of time that that probably wasn't the right job for her. But obviously she didn't know, so she did take up that job. But if you look at it the other way, it was a success because now she knows that that particular kind of work is not the best use of her expertise. So technically it was a success. So it was a success and it was a failure. So was it a success or a failure? There's no such thing, because essentially it is the failure that is going to lead her to success, because she's not going to make that mistake again. Well, hopefully not, because she already knows that that is not the right place for her. So this is the key takeaway. If you don't take anything away from this video, just take away this one thing, which is failure is going to give you a data point about what you should not be doing and where you should not be going. The second part is failure gives you valuable data. I already touched upon this in the previous example with Anna taking up a specific type of a job offer and realizing that it is not for her. So that is valuable data for her, which means that she needs to shift or change her strategy, which is her mind was telling her, take that job. And then she's taking that job and she realizes that, oh shoot, this is not the right thing for her. So essentially failure is giving you valuable data. There is another subtlety connected with it, which is failure is also associated with timing. And this is a very subtle aspect to discuss, because at the time of this recording, we only go forward in time. Well, physically anyway, we can only go forward in time. Sometimes failure can be a function of time, and the timing is decided by the stars. So for instance, let's say that you go for a job interview and you start driving from your home to this place, wherever it is that you're going for an interview, and you get stuck in traffic, or there is some sort of an accident and you get delayed and the interview kind of gets cancelled. It just means that you had bad timing, which means that if you had started maybe half an hour earlier, you would have been fine. But essentially, you starting at whatever time you started was not the right time for you. And this kind of timing is actually written in the stars, and it can be decoded. And I have a free workshop where I show you how the timing from the stars can be decoded, and you can use it and leverage it to be able to make decisions on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, knowing where the stars are going to favor you, or knowing as to what aspect or what area of your life is going to be extremely favorable. So that essentially think of it as being in a position where you are ready to receive whatever it is that the stars are going to send your way, versus kind of being completely unprepared. If you're completely unprepared, then you won't be in a position to receive as much. But if you're completely prepared, then you would be in a position where you can receive a lot more, or you are in a better position to receive. So the stars are kind of telling you or giving you the data or the data points as to where you can expect failure and where you can expect success. And even if you get the failure in those areas of your life, you can kind of use that as a learning experience or as a stepping stone towards your next step. So the last part is course correcting for failure, which means that failure always gives you a chance or an opportunity to be able to course correct. Most of the times what happens is when someone has to go from this point A to this point B, they expect that, let's say John has to go from A to B, and John has a friend named Mark, and Mark went from A to B like this. So because Mark went from A to B like this, John is trying to go from A to B in the same way. However, what he finds is that he is stuck here and he cannot get past that point. So what would be the easiest way? Essentially, he's failing here. So what he can do is when he starts here, if he hits here and keeps failing, then he could divert back, or he could kind of go back, which would be something like this. So he could go back and he could take another route and then come here, and then if he fails here, then he could do the same thing. He could go back and take another route and come here, and then if he fails here, then he could go back and take another route and come here. Each failure is teaching him a lesson and telling him that, hey, listen, you're kind of going in the wrong direction and you need to be able to course correct or do something different if you're wanting to move forward. So think of it as a person. So this was a recent client of mine. And essentially, she was sending a lot of resumes and she wasn't really hearing back. And she had set some constraints on the type of job that she was going to have. So as a psychic, I can look in and see as to what it is that is going wrong in her search. And the search told, or the psychic reading, or the insights, or the information from the stars, essentially what they said is that she needs to be able to change her strategy. So instead of having the constraints as so narrow, she needs to widen it up, or she needs to have a little bit more flexibility in terms of how she has to approach her job search. And as soon as she did that, things started clicking for her. And then instead of getting one offer, she got multiple offers, and she had to decide as to what it is that she needs to do or wants to do or would like to do. So failure can just mean that there are certain choices or certain things that need to be eliminated. So think of it as hitting a stop sign. So when you hit a stop sign, you stop and then you look, and then only if it is safe, you kind of go forward. So the failure is the same way, that when you hit a failure, you have to stop and look and see that, oh, maybe it is not safe to move forward. I need to look at everything and I need to see what needs to change in order for me to be able to move forward. And I had promised you that there would be something else for you to be able to know whether or not you're making the right decision and or what the outcome of the decision would be. And that is something that I have developed. It is called the Cosmic Chronicle. And essentially what the Cosmic Chronicle does is it kind of gives you a longer perspective in terms of what to expect for the coming week or the coming month, so that it's the same concept. Essentially, you know what area of your life is being favored by the stars. And obviously, if an area of your life is being favored, things are going to move very easily for you and success is going to come very easily for you, versus you trying out your luck in an area that is not favored, then it's going to be more of an uphill climb. So some parts of the failure may come from making the wrong decision because you are unaware of what is coming next. And this part of the failure can be eliminated using the Cosmic Chronicle, and the link to sign up is below in the comments. I also have a link to the free workshop where I show you all the frameworks that I've used in order to be able to kind of see how you can make the decisions or what makes decision making easy. So think of it as driving or like driving. For instance, would you drive without a GPS? How would you navigate around? The Cosmic Chronicle kind of gives you things the same way. Think of it as your GPS for the week or for the month or for the quarter, and knowing what to expect makes your life or makes making decisions a lot easier. Not only will you move faster, you will move with ease and confidence, as well as feel unstoppable and attract more opportunities because you know where to plant the seeds to kind of see the plants bloom and kind of work in your favor very, very quickly. So failure is just one aspect of making a decision. However, there are other things that make decision making hard, and that is the subject of my next video, and I'll see you in my next video.